Language Lesson 27. So go ahead, if you will, please get out your language books and open them to page 61 and 62, and we are preparing for our test, which you will have on Monday. So on page 61, I'll stop a minute while y'all get your books, pause the video. Okay, so on page 61, look at write. So under write, it says change the following declarative sentence into an interrogative sentence and an imperative sentence. So I'm not going to have you do this on paper. I will just be checking for it in your book. So our sentence is, I saw the snake in the tall grass. Okay? So if we are going to change this to an interrogative sentence, oh my goodness, this board is not going to work like this for me. I saw the snake in the tall grass. To change that to an interrogative sentence, we can say, did you see the snake in the tall grass? So that is what you should have on your paper. You need to be sure that your sentence begins with a capital letter, and I still have fifth graders writing sentences with no punctuation at the end at all. Well, and even without capitalization at the beginning. By fifth grade, this should not even be a reminder. You should automatically begin each and every sentence with a capital letter and be sure that each and every sentence ends with punctuation. Did you see the snake in the tall grass? So we have just turned this declarative sentence into an interrogative sentence. We made it ask a question. And then to make it an exclamatory sentence, we could say, look at the snake in the tall grass. So here is our exclamatory sentence. Look at the snake in the tall grass. Now, if it is exclamatory, what's it going to end with? An exclamation point. There's my capital letter, there's my punctuation. There's my capital letter, there's my punctuation. Okay? So go ahead and look at remember. And once again, I'm not going to make you get paper out. You can just do this right in the book. We're going to do the directions a little bit differently, though. It says capitalize all proper nouns, and then we're supposed to write them in a column. But what we're going to do is, if it's a proper noun, we're going to capitalize it and put P in front of it. If it's a common noun, we're going to leave it alone and just put C in front of it, okay? So our first word is Iowa. Iowa is the name of a state. So is that a common noun or a proper noun? It is a proper noun. Very good. So you will put a P in front of Iowa, and you will capitalize the I, cross the lowercase I out, and put a capital I above it. Next we have bakery. We're going down. Bakery is just a common noun. Put a C in front of it. Dead Sea. And we know that this is the name of the sea, one of the seas in the Middle East. We've been seeing that on our maps. So Dead Sea, it's the name of a sea, so it is proper. Put a P above it, and capitalize your D, and capitalize your S. Next we have the word boy. Boy is just a common noun. Put a C in front of it. After boy, we have magazine. Not a particular magazine. Put a C in front of it. Next we have autumn. So many times people want to say that seasons are capitalized, but they are not capitalized. So that is just a common noun. To me, it seems like they should be too, but they're not. Next we have South America. It's a particular continent, the name of a continent. It is a P. Put a P in front of it and capitalize your S and your A. Next we have Sarah. That's the name of a girl. So it's particular. It's proper. Put a P in front of it and capitalize your S. Bible, the most important book in the world. It definitely should have a capital letter and put a P in front of it. Proper noun there. Treasure Island. It's the name of a book. So yes, that is proper. And your T and your I would be capitalized. And then mountain. Did we talk about the name of a mountain? No, so that is just a common noun. Put a C in front of it. The next section, simple and compound subjects. Underline all verbs 2 times, underline all subjects 1 time, And write S in the blank if the subject is simple, and write C if it is compound. So we're talking about subjects here. Books provide a fascinating pastime. So our verb is provide, and who or what provide? Oh, and it's books, not Brooks. No wonder that didn't make sense to me. Books provide a fascinating pastime. You guys, this whole page, that you have a whole page, my whole page is shrunk down into this square right here. So it gets really hard to see these tiny little letters. And then on the fractions sometimes, oh Lord, those get really hard. Sometimes I'll keep a little magnifying glass on my book so I can try and see the fractions correctly. Especially since we've started videoing lessons and I don't have kids in the classroom to say, no, Miss McDermott, that's not eighths, it's thirds. And I'll say, oh, thank you. But now I don't have anybody to yell at me when I'm, saying, not yell at me, but, say, no, that's not right, Miss McDermott. So anyways, back to my sentence number 1. Books provide a fascinating pastime. Provide is our verb, who or what provide books. Number 2, through books, man can travel to distant places. We have a verb phrase, can travel, and who or what can travel? Man. And in both of those sentences, both subjects are just simple sentences. There's no conjoining words, no conjunctions, nothing. Look at sentence number 3. With the aid of books, adults and children can visit foreign countries. You can go to a foreign country by reading a book about it. How awesome is that? So what's our verb? Verb phrase, can visit. Who or what can visit? I see a joining word. Adults and children. So that is our subject, not the word and. Adults, children. And what kind of subject do we have here? A compound subject. Very good. Number 4, good books are always a welcome gift. What is our verb? On our verb list, am is are, was, were, be, and been. Are is our verb. Who or what are? Books. Very good. And that's just a simple subject. Number 5, in literature, many emotions of men are portrayed. We have a verb phrase, are portrayed. Good job. And who or what are portrayed? Emotions, not man. Emotions are portrayed. And that is just a simple subject. Number 6, love and ambition are 2 favorite themes of William Shakespeare. So what's our verb on our verb list? We've seen it a lot in these sentences. Are, and who or what are? Love, ambition. And that is a compound subject. We see our conjoining word and between our subjects there. Number 7, Edgar Allan Poe, an American poet, writes much on the emotion of fear. What is our verb in this sentence? Writes. Very good. Now think before you speak or before you think here. Who or what writes? It's not poet. Who or what writes? Edgar Allan Poe is our subject. Now let me ask you, there's more than one word in our subject, so do we have a compound subject? Please say no, Ms. McDermott. And why not? Because there's no joining word, there's no and. This is all one person, Edgar Allan Poe. So it is a simple subject. Number 8, novels, plays, and poems are included in literature. What is our verb? Are included. And who or what are included? Novels, plays, and poems. So we have 3 subjects here. So our subject is compound. Look in the next section. Simple and compound verbs. Underline all verbs 2 times. Underline all subjects 1 time. Write S in the blank if the verb is simple. Write C if it is compound. Number 1, Hans Christian Andersen wrote The Emperor's New Clothes. What is our verb? Wrote. And who or what wrote? Hans Christian Andersen. And that is a simple verb, just 1 verb there. Number 2, the emperor was very fond of fine clothes and thought of little else. What is our verb? Was. It's on our verb list. And I seen a conjoining word, was and thought. So was and thought is our verb. Underline it twice. And who or what was and thought? Emperor. So we definitely have a compound subject in that sentence. Number 3, one day 2 swindlers from a foreign land came to town. What is our verb? Came. And who are what came? Swindlers is our subject, very good, and that is just a simple verb, no compound. We are fine weavers and can make the world's most beautiful cloth. What is our verb? We have 2. One is on our verb list and the other is a phrase. Are and can make. And who or what are and can make? We. And we see that we do have a compound verb though, so put C on the line. The cloth will be invisible to people unworthy of their post. What is our verb phrase? On our list. Will be. Who or what will be? Cloth. Now we have 2 words in our verb phrase. Is it compound? No, there's no joining word. It's just a simple simple verb. I shall know the foolish servants in my kingdom and replace them with smarter servants. So what is our verb? I shall know the foolish servants in my kingdom and replace them with smarter servants. The first, we have a compound verb here. The first one is a verb phrase. Shall know and replace. That is our verb. Very good. And who or what shall know and replace? I. Very good. So that is a compound verb. Number 7, only a child would admit to the truth about the clothing. Verb phrase, would admit, and who or what would admit? Child, and that is just a simple verb. And number 8, do you understand the lesson of this story? We have a verb phrase here, and many of you keep forgetting this verb. Do. Do understand is our verb phrase, and who or what do understand? You. And guys, most times if your sentence is asking a question, you will have a verb phrase with the subject in the middle of that of the verb, okay? So do understand is a simple verb. Go ahead and turn your papers to page 62. On page 62, we have simple and compound sentences. Underline the subjects once and verbs twice. Identify each sentence as simple or compound by writing SRC in the blank, and then diagram the subjects and verbs on notebook paper. We are not going to be, we will diagram a few of them right on our book. How about we do that? The vision had suddenly disappeared. What is our verb? Verb phrase. Had disappeared. Who or what had disappeared? Vision. So is that a simple sentence or a compound sentence? It is a simple sentence. Very good. Number 2, he kept his shop and his shop kept him. So I see a comma and. Circle your comma and. What do comma ands tell us? Or comma buts, or comma ors, or comma nors, or comma fors, or comma yets? What do they tell us? That we have what kind of sentence? A compound sentence. Alright? So our first verb is he kept his shop. Kept is our verb. Who or what kept? He. Go to your second complete thought after your and. His shop kept him. What is our verb? Kept. And who or what kept? Shop. So that is a compound sentence. Write compound on the line. And on your book, just find somewhere to diagram our compound sentence. So our verb is kept. And who or what kept? He. In our next sentence, our verb is kept again. And who or what kept? Shop. Now remember, we join our compound sentences with the seat. And comma and goes on the seat. Now, let me get a little bit straight with you about these diagrams. When I show you how to diagram a sentence, that is the way it's done. You don't get to come up with your own little adding flair to your diagrams, okay? I've seen all kinds of things happening. First of all, I've seen people, even after I've done it with every sentence with you on a board, not putting their comma conjunction on the line. I've seen people diagramming compound sentence after compound sentence, doing this and writing, never even having a chair on their diagram. I've seen people having your compound sentences and doing your chair out here at the end, and no, none of this is the way that I have showed you or taught you to do it. I don't understand why children in these days think they can just do their own way of doing things. When you're taught to do something a certain way, that's the way you do it because it's the correct way. If you do any of your diagrams any other way on your test or quizzes, they will be marked incorrect, completely incorrect, okay? Because I have taught you and showed you how to do exactly the right way of doing your diagrams, not all this other stuff that I have never once put on the board except for now to show you that this is not going to be accepted. Okay, so your diagrams have to be done just the way that I showed you. I know that may have sounded kind of hard here early in the morning while I'm videoing, but do your diagrams the way you've been taught to do them, not the way you think they should be done or the way you want to do them, okay? All right, so let's look at number 3. He always tried his best. What is our verb in number 3? Tried. And who or what tried? He tried. Very good, and that is just a simple sentence. Look at number 4. He wore a general's uniform and carried an overcoat over his arm. Now I see an and there, but there's no comma. It's not comma and. So we know it's not a compound sentence. So we can go ahead and write S on the line. And our verb is wore and carried. So who or what wore and carried? He. Okay? Number 5, know thyself. Take the trash out. Do your work. Make your bed. Know yourself or thyself. What kind of sentence is it? An imperative sentence. So what is our verb? Know. And who or what know? You. So you will go right in the front of your sentence with a capital Y in parentheses. Number 6, Saturdays come and go quickly. What is our verb? Come and go. And who or what come and go? Saturdays. Good job. Number 7, he pointed with his cane. What is our verb? Pointed. And who or what pointed? He. Just a simple sentence. And number 6 was a simple sentence as well. Number 8, I gave him the book, comma, and he gave me a shirt. So I see 2 complete thoughts. Circle your comma and, joined by that comma and. The first complete thought, I gave him the book. Our verb is gave, and who or what gave? I. Our second complete thought, he gave me a shirt. What's our verb? Gave, and who or what gave? He. So we have a compound sentence here. So we're going to diagram it real quick. Our first sentence says, I gave. So gave is our verb. Who or what gave? I. You need to put this one on your paper somewhere. Our second sentence for our compound sentence is gave is our verb again. And who or what gave? He gave. So we will join our compound sentence with our seat, and comma and sits on the seat. All right. Number, where am I at? Number 9. I was going on a picnic, but the weather stopped me. So I see a comma but. So circle your comma but. And our verb in our first thought is verb phrase, was going. Who or what was going? I. Our second complete thought, what's our verb? Stopped. And who or what stopped? Weather. So on number 9, we would diagram it. It's another compound sentence. I wanted to diagram the compound sentences with you today. So it would be was going. Our verb goes on one line. It's a verb phrase. Who or what was going? I. And our second verb is stopped. Who or what stopped? Weather. We make our seat. And comma but goes on the seat. And then number 10, Drew and his cousin enjoyed that play. Enjoyed is our verb. who or what enjoyed Drew and cousin, and that is a simple sentence. In the next section, common and proper nouns, you are going to identify each noun as common or proper by writing C or P in the blank, and then you're going to capitalize the noun if need be, and you are going to do that exercise on your own. Go ahead and get out your study guide. You may pause the video while you do so. Okay, so in our study guide, we completed all of page 1, and we got halfway down, or a little bit less than halfway through page 2. So we stopped at what a great home run, and we made that an exclamatory sentence. We wrote exclamatory on the line. So our next section says, underline the verb 2 times and the subject 1 time. A cold November rain fell on the fairgrounds and chilled the noisy crowd. All right, so what is our verb in this sentence? It's going to be a compound verb. Fell and enjoyed. Very good. And who or what fell and enjoyed? Rain. Good job. The cheerleading squad has finished its practice and gone home. Okay, so we have a verb, our compound verb again. Has finished, gone. Very good. That is our verb. Who or what has finished, gone. Think before you speak. It's one word. Squad. Very good. Squad is our subject. I will never forget your kindness. What is our verb? Verb phrase. Woo! Hang on here. Think before you speak again, because in the midst of our verb phrase, there is a word that will never, ever, ever, ever be a verb, because it's a negative word. It will never, 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 never be a verb. Will forget is our verb phrase. Never is just like no. It can never be a verb. Okay? Or not. No, not, never. Any of those can never be a verb. So will forget is our verb phrase. Who or what will forget? I. Very good. The Dutch colonies and their citizens were captured by the British. Verb phrase. Were captured. Who or what were captured? Colonies and citizens. Don't underline and, but colonies, citizens is your subject. In Jesus' parable, the foolish women had no oil for their lamps. What is our verb? One word that's on our verb list. Had. And then who or what had? Women. Very good. Miss McDermott and Miss Battle took their classes to the library. What is our verb? Took. And who or what took? Miss McDermott, Miss Battle. From every tree fell yellow, green, and red leaves. What is our verb? Fell. Think before you speak. Or think. Think before you think. Or before you underline something. Who or what fell? Did the tree fall? No, it's not the tree. Leaves. Leaves is your subject. It's an inverted sentence. The verb comes before the subject. And if you will always say who or what fell and think about your answer, it will make sense. But if you always just go to the word right in front of your verb, you might lose a lot of points. Matthew and Brian played basketball and football in their activity class. So what is our verb? Played. And who or what played? Matthew and Brian. Very good. Next page. Daniel trusted God through everything, comma, and God protected him. So I see a compound sentence here. I see a comma and. So our first complete thought. Our verb is